The story follows Pan-soo, the heir to Han-ho Group, and a cold, ruthless gangster. He lives in luxury and seems to have everything, but his wife, Seo-yeon, has never truly loved him. Their marriage has no real foundation. Pan-soo marries her only because her father, Mr. Han, is the powerful president of Han-ho Group. Seo-yeon grows up spoiled. She has never worked and spends money without limits. She keeps complaining that her father refuses to buy her the art gallery she wants. Pan-soo gets annoyed and stops listening, turning away to focus on his work. His men report that a carpenter refuses to move, which is delaying their new project. Pan-soo immediately calls his trusted assistant, Man-chul, and orders him to force the man out no matter what. Meanwhile, the carpenter, Jong-ki, senses the danger. He knows they will use violence to make him give in. Soon after, Man-chul storms into the lumber shop with a group of thugs. He threatens Jong-ki, saying if he doesn't sign the papers, they will cut off his arm. With no way out, Jong-ki is forced to give up his shop. That night, Pan-soo runs into his business rival, Yang, at a restaurant. Yang tries to humiliate him in public to show his power. But Pan-soo stays calm, smiling the whole time, clearly not taking him seriously. Embarrassed, Yang leaves soon after. Not long later, Pan-soo finally buys a building he has been planning for 18 years. To celebrate, he goes to his favorite ramen shop. But he is not there to eat. He wants to find out what happened to the female owner from 10 years ago. The current owner tells him she may have already passed away. Eating with him is a high school student named Dong-hyun. When Dong-hyun tries to pay, he realizes he forgot his wallet. As he apologizes, the owner casually says Pan-soo will pay for him. Pan-soo is a bit annoyed, but he doesn't mind covering the bill, even though the boy eats 4 bowls of ramen. As thanks, the owner promises to give him a special gift. On the way back, Pan-soo's car gets blocked by a garbage truck, and he waits impatiently. At the same time, Dong-hyun stands on the edge of a rooftop, trying to grab a hanging shoe. Suddenly, he loses his balance and falls right onto Pan-soo below. When Pan-soo wakes up, he is in a hospital bed. A nurse asks if he is awake and calls him student. Confused, he walks outside, only to find everyone calling him student. Then, he sees something shocking, his own body lying on another bed. Before he can react, Jong-ki rushes in, hugs him, and calls him his son. Only after looking in the mirror does Pan-soo realize he has switched bodies with Dong-hyun. Ironically, just the day before, he ordered his men to deal with Jong-ki. Now he has become his son. Jong-ki is confused by his son's strange behavior. The doctor suggests the boy may have retrograde amnesia and sometimes thinks he is someone else. Pan-soo has no interest in their conversation. He hates this new body. Suddenly, he remembers what the ramen shop owner said and believes she is behind everything. He rushes to find her, only to be told the shop closed 3 months ago. He insists he was there just the day before, but the woman thinks he is mentally unstable and brushes him off. Meanwhile, his rival Yang hears that Pan-soo is in a coma. Overjoyed, he decides to take this chance to get rid of him for good. That night, Pan-soo returns to his home. He sees his wife crying and thinks she's worried about him, but in fact, she's just upset because her necklace broke. When Seo-yeon sees him, she panics and thinks he's an intruder. Pan-soo tries to explain who he is, but she doesn't believe him and calls security. At the police station, the cop questions why he broke into a house and even suspect he just wanted to steal food. Jong-ki steps in and explains that his son has a head injury, asking the cop to forgive him. Luckily, since Pan-soo is a minor, the cop decide not to press charges. After being released, Pan-soo returns to the hospital. He keeps trying to jump back into his unconscious body, hoping to fix everything. Just then, his loyal assistant Man-chul walks in and stops him. He accuses the boy of hurting his boss and angrily throws him out of the room. With nowhere else to go, Pan-soo stays at Dong-hyun's house and promises his father he will leave soon. To help his son recover faster, Jong-ki prepares a big meal. At first, Pan-soo says he doesn't eat much, but before he realizes it, every dish is gone. He suddenly realizes the body swap hasn't changed this body's appetite at all. Jong-ki starts to suspect Dong-hyun was bullied at school and that it led to the accident. so he decides to investigate himself. Pan-soo feels uneasy too, because he has no idea what will happen next. The next day, they go to the school together. When asked about bullying, the principal claims it never happens there. Pan-soo sees through the lie right away and decides to find the truth himself. As soon as he walks into the classroom, several boys glare at him and even flip him off. Pan-soo quickly realizes Dong-hyun has been having a very hard time at school. During lunch, a group of girls starts bullying a girl named Hyun-jung. One of them pours a drink into her food and forces her to eat it. Hyun-jung does it, but they don't stop. They dump the whole tray on her. Pan-soo can't stand it and steps in, which angers the leader, Tae-wook. Just as Tae-wook is about to attack, the teachers arrive and stop him. After lunch, Tae-wook blocks Pan-soo again and orders him to buy burgers like usual. Pan-soo says nothing, he just slaps him twice and asks why he bullies Dong-hyun. Tae-wook replies it's just because he looks easy to pick on. Hearing that, Pan-soo slaps him again, then storms off. Later, the bullies take out their anger on another boy. They even plan to film him to humiliate him. Suddenly, Pan-soo steps out of a stall and knocks them all down. He takes Tae-wook's phone and finds photos of Dong-hyun being bullied. Tae-wook tries to get his phone back, but Pan-soo slaps him again and says he'll return it tomorrow. Back home, Pan-soo checks the phone and finds a video from the day of the accident. It turns out the bullies hung Hyun-jung's shoe up high to mess with her. Dong-hyun tried to help her get it down and accidentally fell from the rooftop. At that exact moment, he and Pan-soo somehow switched bodies. Meanwhile, Tae-wook's boss is beating him and his friends for not deleting the video. Just then, Pan-soo shows up. He says he has already copied the video and warns the boss. If they come after him again, they'll be in serious trouble. Meanwhile, Pan-soo's wife, Seo-yeon, starts dating a younger man while he is still in a coma. Just then, Yang suddenly shows up. He says he has photos of them together and uses them to blackmail her into teaming up to frame Pan-soo. Late at night, Pan-soo goes to the hospital room and sees Manchul guarding the bed. Manchul wakes up and harshly warns the fat boy to stay away from his boss. Pan-soo decides to tell him the truth that he is actually his boss. To prove it, he reveals a secret only the two of them know. Even though it sounds crazy, Manchul finally believes him. After eating, Pan-soo asks why he is protecting his body. Manchul says there are rumors that Yang plans to kill him, so he has been standing guard. Pan-soo tells him not to worry and says he will return to his original body soon. The next day, outside the school, Hyun-jung accidentally bumps into Pan-soo and drops her stuffed toy. He follows her to return it and unexpectedly meets her mother, Mi-sun. He freezes on the spot because she is his first love. He calls her name without thinking, but she feels offended, hits him a few times, and drives him away. Later, Pan-soo thinks back to his past with Mi-sun and starts to wonder who Hyun-jung's father is. So he takes some of her hair for a DNA test. The result shows Hyun-jung is indeed his daughter, leaving him completely shaken. Not long after, those delinquent girls bully Hyun-jung again. When Pan-soo sees this, he rushes in to help her. But when he sees his daughter crying, he loses control in anger and even tells Manchul to take care of the girls. Manchul reminds him they are just kids and suggests talking to Hyun-jung's mother first. After learning about the bullying, Mi-sun feels deep guilt and blames everything on Hyun-jung's irresponsible father. Pan-soo feels the same guilt. Because of his absence, the people he loves have suffered so much. At the same time, Seo-yeon takes a fake report to her father and accuses Pan-soo of serious financial fraud. It's clear she has teamed up with Yang to completely destroy his life. Meanwhile, Pan-soo decides to protect his daughter and help this boy regain his strength, so he goes to a gym to train. Hyun-jung is also sent there by her mother, but she refuses to learn how to fight. Manchul pretends to be a coach and convinces her to stay, putting both of them through intense training. In just a few days, Hyun-jung becomes skilled in fighting, and Pan-soo loses weight and gets back in shape. When he returns to school, everyone is shocked by his transformation. Even those girls start to look at him differently. After school, he walks Hyun-jung home. There, he sees many photos from her childhood and secretly takes one to keep. That night, Carpenter Jong-ki finishes a long day of work and heads home after getting paid. On the way, several thugs suddenly stop him and beat him up because he owes them a large amount of money. Pan-soo happens to pass by and steps in to help, but he is quickly overpowered too. The leader throws down a business card and warns them to repay 80 million within a week. Later, Manchul tracks down the gang's hideout and beats them all up. He warns them to cancel Jong-ki's debt immediately or face the consequences. The gang leader is too scared to resist and agrees. Soon after, the delinquent girls try to bully Hyun-jung again. But this time, she doesn't stay silent. She fights back and teaches them a lesson, successfully protecting herself. Everyone is all shocked by her sudden change, and Pan-soo feels proud of his daughter. That night, he goes to Mi-sun's restaurant for dinner. While chatting, Mi-sun brings up her ex-boyfriend. She says the thing she regrets most is not killing him herself back then. Pan-soo realizes she is talking about him and nearly chokes on his drink. Soon after, while serving some customers, Mi-sun is harassed by a creep. Pan-soo steps in right away to protect her, but the situation quickly turns into a fight. He moves Mi-sun to a safe spot, then goes back to deal with the guy. Seeing how strange he's acting, Mi-sun can't hold back anymore and demands to know who he really is. At this point, Pan-soo finally tells the truth after a fall. He and Dong-hyun somehow switched bodies. At first, Mi-sun doesn't believe a word, but when Pan-soo reveals a private detail about her body, she starts to hesitate. She asks him a few more questions, and he answers all of them correctly. Even so, she tells him to leave their lives again, just like he did years ago. She says he has no right to be Hyun-jung's father. Then the story flashes back to the last time they met. Back then, Pan-soo coldly told Mi-sun he was going to marry his chairman's daughter and told her to forget him forever. That's why she still can't forgive him. The next day, a popular guy named Min-ho invites Hyun-jung to his birthday party. Hyun-jung is overjoyed and immediately says yes without knowing it's actually a trap. Later, Pan-soo meets Mi-sun at a cafe. He apologizes again, admitting he owes her and their daughter too much, and says he just wants to make things right. But Mi-sun stays firm and makes it clear she doesn't want him in their lives anymore. Then, out of nowhere, Pan-soo kisses her in public, trying to win her back. Everyone around them is stunned because to others, he looks more like her son. Offended and furious, Mi-sun slaps him hard and grabs him, ready to take him to the police. Right then, Pan-soo gets a call from his friend. The caller tells him those bullies are planning to humiliate Hyun-jung at the party. Pan-soo rushes over and arrives just in time to see Min-ho splash a drink on her. Seeing his daughter treated like that, he loses it and charges at the boys. Hyun-jung doesn't back down either. She fights back and kicks Min-ho straight into the pool. In the end, father and daughter leave together. The next day, Manchul goes to the hospital to check on Pan-soo, but guards at the door stop him, saying it's the chairman's order. When Pan-soo hears this, he realizes his wife plans to remove him from the list of heirs. He asks Manchul to deliver a letter to his father-in-law. On the way home, Pan-soo runs into a girl from his class. She asks if he's dating Hyun-jung. He angrily denies it. The girl then boldly confesses her feelings to him. Pan-soo says he would never date a student and tells her to focus on her studies. Right after she leaves, Hyun-jung shows up and asks if he plans to be with that girl. Pan-soo denies it again. To his surprise, Hyun-jung confesses to him and asks him to be her boyfriend. Shocked, Pan-soo rejects her right away, saying it's impossible. Later, Hyun-jung tells her mother about the confession. Mi-sun panics, but she can't explain that the boy Hyun-jung likes is actually her real father. She can only order her to stay away from him. Then Mi-sun confronts Pan-soo and warns him that if he gets close to Hyun-jung again, she will die with him. At that moment, Hyun-jung walks over and asks what's going on. To make her give up completely, Pan-soo says the person he loves is her mother. Hyun-jung is devastated and thinks her mother betrayed her. Mi-sun slaps Pan-soo in anger, blaming him for ruining everything. Late at night, Yang sneaks into the hospital, trying to kill his rival. Just as he pulls out a knife, Dong-hyun suddenly sits up and calmly points out that his zipper is open. Startled, Yang slips and knocks himself out. Soon after, Dong-hyun realizes he's in a different body. He runs to find his father, crying. Jong Ki mistakes him for an intruder and is about to call the police, but Pan Su arrives just in time. He slaps Dong Hyun to calm him down, then explains everything. Jong Ki still has doubts, but he chooses to believe them, though it's hard to accept a son older than himself. Later, Pan Su asks Dong Hyun if he likes Hyun Jung and promises that if he helps him, he will let them be together. That night, they go to Mi Sun's restaurant and lie that their souls have returned to their original bodies. Pretending to be Pan Su, Dong Hyun apologizes to Mi Sun and asks to get back together. Before she can answer, Yang storms in with his men. Dong Hyun gets scared and starts begging for mercy, which makes Mi Sun realize they are lying. With the situation turning dangerous, Pan Su quickly sends them into a room and faces the gang alone. He takes down several men in a row, forcing Yang to send out his strongest fighter. A fierce fight breaks out, and Pan Su still gains the upper hand. But suddenly, Yang attacks from behind and holds a knife to his neck. At the critical moment, Mi Sun rushes out, opens a gas tank, and threatens to blow up the whole restaurant. Panicking, Yang retreats with his men. Once the danger is over, Mi Sun finally relaxes. Dong Hyun then runs out. Seeing that familiar face, she can't hold back her emotions. She cries, saying how much she has missed him all these years, and thanks him for coming back. Only then does Pan Su truly realize that Mi Sun has always loved him. Meanwhile, Mr. Han discovers that his daughter not only lied to trap her husband, but also hid her own affair. He immediately demands to see Pan Su. Because of the urgency, Dong Hyun goes in his place, while Pan Su guides him through a radio. In front of everyone, Mr. Han cuts ties with Seo Yun and removes her inheritance rights. Furious, Seo Yun fights back and accuses Pan Su of having an illegitimate daughter and an improper relationship with another woman. At a crucial moment, the system suddenly fails. Dong Hyun can't hear any instructions and has to decide on his own. He says that after getting hurt, he realized that living with the people he loves is the happiest thing in the world. So he decides to give up his position as heir to the Han Ho group and return to his family. Mr. Han respects his decision and lets him leave. Pan Su hugs Dong Hyun and thanks him for making the right choice. But Seo Yun can't accept any of this. She completely loses control and drives her car straight at them. Pan Su is badly injured and rushed to the hospital. At the edge of death, he tells Hyun Jung the truth, that he is her father, and apologizes for not being there while she was growing up. But Hyun Jung can't process it. She even thinks her mother married her friend. The next second, Pan Su and Dong Hyun both pass out. Surprisingly, the lead surgeon turns out to be the mysterious restaurant owner. She asks Pan Su if he likes this gift, then puts everything back the way it was. 6 months later, Dong Hyun returns to his own body and goes back to school. All his classmates, even those who used to bully him, start treating him well. Even better, he and Hyun Jung officially start dating. Meanwhile, Yang is arrested on suspicion of murder. Pan Su completely leaves the gang life behind and runs a restaurant with Mi Sun. Everyone, including Jong Ki and Man Chul, becomes part of the team. And just like that, their calm and happy life begins.